I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, November the 25th, brought to you in part by Zactran. Provide your calves with the BRD control they deserve with one cost-effective dose of Zactran. Studies show Zactran gives you the best rate of return on most cattle. Remember to observe your 35-day withdrawal period after treatment. For more information, go to Zactran.com or visit with your BI rep. The stock market topped 30,000 for the first time, and that's a big deal. And it just goes to show you that the media controls us so much. So the media has been so positive ever since the election has gone on, and the media for the most part is very liberal, but they're really happy with the way things have gone. And they've just been really positive. And also now that we've got stories out and going pretty widespread, that there's 3 companies that are going to have COVID-19 vaccines available, if not before the end of the year, soon after the end of the year. Now, not to say that everybody's going to want to run out and take that, but at least it gives those that have been pushing this lockdown, all this fear on the COVID, it kind of gives them an out. It gives them a stopping point, an exit plan of stop trying to control everybody. And they've really gotten so much power hungry, and they've been on a power trip, most of them, for the past 8 months or so. But, you know, we need an exit plan on this stuff. Did a lot of traveling here this last week or so. Was in a lot of different airports traveling around. Of course, you have to wear a mask, and it's mandatory in there. But just watching all of us monkeys walking around with a stupid mask on, it just goes to show you how the media just controls everybody. And then when you get these power-hungry people in leadership roles that probably for the most part don't deserve them, they really get off on telling people what to do and forcing them, and now telling people not to enjoy Thanksgiving with their families. Yeah, give me a break. That's unbelievable that they're even doing that. But you know, we're seeing very busy travel. I know that the planes that I rode in the last week, especially here towards the end, getting close right up to Thanksgiving, we're mostly all full. I know we're not running as many planes as we used to, but you know, there's people sure getting around. I know I'm going to have a Thanksgiving dinner with my family. I hope you guys are having it with your family. I don't even know what's life all about if you can't enjoy things like that. You know, the holidays with your family. You know, what are you working for? Why are you trying to stay healthy and live a long time if you can't enjoy the things that you you know, life is all about? But you know, just living in fear all the time is a hell of a way to be. But I hope you guys aren't doing too much of it. But let's talk about your board as we get into the middle part of the week. We've got a short week here. We haven't seen much fat cattle trade as of yet. They'll likely do something here on Wednesday, and I hope they do it fairly early because I'm wanting to get the last report for the week out at a decent time so I can go to a Thanksgiving gathering. Shh, don't tell anybody, but going to be several people there. I'm hoping we'll be a good crowd there. It usually is, but let's you know, as we get towards here, most of our bigger sales are going to be closed. Those that had big sales on Wednesday and Thursday did have some special sales that used the holiday as a good excuse to have a special. We're going to talk about that towards the end of the report. But you know, we probably should see some trade on Friday in your fat cattle arena. It should be higher. They may come back and trade on Friday. Who knows? But we sure should get higher. Your packers are pretty aggressive for cattle because they need to keep these chain speeds going full blast. But It's just it's the short holiday Thanksgiving week, and that's just the way it is. But your board was pretty positive on Tuesday, and let's look at it. December live cattle futures up $1.17 at 111.17. February up $1.05 at 113.95. Going out from there, and it ranged from down 55 cents, and that was the farthest traded month contract out there, April of 2022, from down 55 to mostly higher, and the most higher was up 60 cents. January feeder cattle up 77 cents at 138.60. March up 85 cents at 138.12. Going out from there, down just 2 cents to up 45 cents. So pretty good day as we get near the holiday on your futures market. Shouldn't see things range too much, but a lot of that positive in your commodity markets this week has been due to the stock market and just the positive news that's come out. But the stock market's gone up because everybody seems more calm, and when we do get the vaccines out there, not that everybody's going to take them, but you can say, if you guys are concerned, if you're worried about this, go take the vaccine. Those of us that just want to get back to life, and we've been living life for the last 8 months, and we're still alive, we'll probably just go right on. But at least it gives an exit plan for those that are very concerned, for those that are high risk, for those that are most vulnerable. Come in and take the vaccine, and we hope that it's safe, and we hope that it works. Your fat cattle trade, like I said, they haven't done much at all. Did have a little bit of trade out of Iowa on Tuesday afternoon, about 2,500 head from 109 to 110. That's about steady, and 172 dress, that's steady. I'm not sure why they would sell steady, other than if they're just getting close to the holiday and they didn't want to fool with it. And you see some of your smaller farmer feeders do that sometimes. But that's the bad thing about letting Iowans start your trade every week. They don't have as good a relationship with your packers. A lot of them don't have cattle ready very often, so they don't stay on a real close, a relationship with the packers, and they get abused a little bit, and they likely give up too easy. But if you got your spot December live cattle futures at 111.17, we sure ought to get $1.12. Whether they'll get that or not, you cattle sellers, these packers need cattle. Tell you what, we need to make some hay here while the sun's shining, as far as in our negotiations every week. In the past 3 weeks, your wholesale beef prices, your choice cutout, has up nearly $35 in the last 3 weeks. I mean, and that's all margin for your packer. In that same time that your choice cutout's been up $35, your fats have gained $5 live and $10 dressed. So we've got room to gain here compared to what they're getting for their product and what you're getting for yours. And remember, they're two different products. Cattle on the hoof, or even dressed steers and heifers compared to that wholesale beef that they're selling. Two different products. So, if they were the same, if they were the same product, beef and cattle, whenever one's enjoying handsome historical profits, the other one would get to also. But that's not always the case. But it's partly our fault, guys. You got to get out there and ask for it. You got to try to stick together, and when you get the opportunity to gain more ground, you got to do it. Your slaughter been pretty aggressive here on holiday week, but just through Tuesday, 242,000. That's 2,000 more than last week, and 13,000 more than the same week a year ago. But these packers got to really keep this stuff going, because they made a lot of contracts for the rest of this year and early next year. And they're probably not too happy about it, because they weren't sure they were going to be able to get these cutouts as high as they have, and likely sold a lot of this out front product significantly cheaper than what the spot market is now. But they'd like to go ahead and get those get that product processed and get it ready to ship out to for their customers on their contracts, and get back to selling more on this spot market. But let's talk about your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on DV auction late in the day on Tuesday at 137.60. That's up 35 cents. Sitting out ahead of your CME cash feeder cattle index, and pretty good markets here. I want to talk about Ozarks Regional Stockyard, West Plains, Missouri. That's extreme South Central Missouri. Big time sale though, consistently, and has been over the last 20 years, would be top 10 receipts nationwide, guys. They sell a lot of cattle there, but about 2,250 head on their Tuesday auction in the sale. Mostly steady, instances as much as $5 higher. But they did have an in-house video there, and us at DV Auction were helping them out with that. They broadcast with us. They're viewing and taking bids right there, and especially on the video, the in-house video. This is just Ozarks Regional Stockyard, guys. 1,700 head there, and they had a really stick-out deal on there. Dr. Ryan Grant, a veterinarian there, had some home-raised cattle on there over in Grove, Oklahoma, but 130 head of fancy all-black home-raised feeder steers weighing 810 pounds. They were just getting grass and then just a little bit of commodity feed, about 1% of their body weight. And that's one thing I've always heard Randy Hoover say: if you're given these cattle that you're backgrounding more than 1% body weight of commodity feed, you're putting on flesh instead of just growing them, guys. But if you don't push it more than that, 1% of their body weight, that keeps them where you can handle them. It keeps them doing good, and it's not putting on fat. It's just growing those cattle, and you don't want to make them fleshy because that hurts the sale on them. But 130 of those home-raised steers weighed 810 pounds, bring 146.50. That's a big-time quote, guys. Let's talk about a top quote on calves. Riverton Livestock, that's a winter livestock barn in Riverton, Wyoming. 153 head, 498, or same as 500-pound steers, 175.50. Now I want to talk about some more yearling sales. Now we've been out of yearlings, but all of a sudden we're seeing several of these specials show up, and man, were these buyers hungry for them. And just like the quote that I gave you on Ozarks Regional Stockyard video, a lot of these yearlings are all going in the same outlets. Because there's just not that many. Your big, your corporate feedlots, they're not going to push the price for these better performing cattle. They just don't want to pay that price. All they think about is buying commodity cattle that they can hedge. But there's a few of these outlets, and they're mostly your larger family feeding operations. And most all of these cattle, the ones I just talked about and the ones I'm going to talk about, all going in those same outlets, and there'd be less than half a dozen of them. And it's just amazing that they can get all these cattle, especially when they're selling on the same day. And I guarantee you a lot of it, the reason they're able to do it is because they have online bidding, and they have Wi-Fi in the sale barns there. But they also have order buyers that are out working the sales. But when you have a lot of sales, especially right here close to a holiday on the same day, and most all the cattle going in the same direction. But Green City Livestock Marketing, Green City, Missouri, that's a fairly new broadcast barn for DV Auction. They had 2,500 head there. Look at these feeder steers that they sold. These are big groups of feeder steers, the 800 to 1,000 pound steers. You know, for the most part, your 8-weight selling from 143.50 to 146.25 on your load lots and bigger. But how about this set of Jennings cattle, 60 head, 866 pound feeder steers at 146.75. Don't forget, Green City always has big specials around the 4th of July and on Thanksgiving. But on Thanksgiving, they've had their yearling special right before Thanksgiving. They'll come back on Friday, Black Friday, right after Thanksgiving, with a big calf special. Local calves there, they'll be fancy and sold for the most part in big strings. So if you guys can't get to Green City, get on to dvauction.com. You can view and bid that sale here on Friday at Green City, Missouri. Now, another market that's not 30 miles away from Green City, Unionville Livestock Market, at 1,900 head there. Look at the quote. Look at the load lots of 8-weight steers there out of Unionville. I think there's one or two that stick outside of the 8 weights, but your 8-weight feeder steers there in Unionville selling in a even narrower range from 145.75 to 146.50. They call the market steady to $4 higher. Good to see Steve Disselhorst, my old buddy that I used to work with there. Good to see him out picking up some markets whenever they are all bunched up there. But want to say hi to him. But you know, again, a lot of these cattle are going to the same feedlots, guys. And it's just amazing that. Now I'm going to tell you another one that's not too far away. A lot of those cattle going in the same outlets too. How about Denny Rezac Livestock Commission, St. Mary's, Kansas. Not a big run, but had some big quotes and had some loads. They had about 1,300 head of cattle there. But look at all these loads they had of yearling feeder steers here. And actually your Zach Tran top quote for the day was included in there at Denny Rezac Livestock Commission. 60 head, 913 pound feeder steers at $148. And that's your feeder flash for Wednesday.